You weren't born disconnected from spirit. You were trained to doubt yourself and to forget. I'm going to take you through the reasons why you haven't been connecting. And then I'm also going to take you through an activation to help you awaken this. Is this you? You've tried the meditations, you've read the books, you've learned about the crystals, and maybe you've done some mediumship courses. But every time you go to tune in, close your eyes, come into meditation, there's crickets. You can't hear anything or see anything. You don't know anything. You're definitely not visualizing anything in your head. It is like silence. But you want to hear from your guides. You want to tune into spirit. You want to have that evidential guidance going forward. You're not alone. Now, when I was a little girl, I used to see colors in my eyes. I'd lie in bed at night. I'm about 5 or 6 years old. I'm lying there, I'm looking at the ceiling, and I can see blue and yellow and pink. And I thought it was just because I had looked at the light bulb and closed my eyes, but I could see colors all the time. In fact, they were so bright and profound, I would sneak into mum and dad's bedroom and try to sleep on the floor or sneak in with them, only to be sent back to my bedroom. I was also petrified of the wardrobe. I would not sleep with my back to the middle of the room. I would always have to have the wall facing my back because I was scared something was going to tap me on the shoulder. In fact, something did tap me on the shoulder, and that's why I was so petrified. Now, I didn't claim my mediumship abilities until I was in my 30s. But when I started awakening and waking up to my own knowing and realizing that mediumship and psychic abilities and intuition is not what I thought it was, when I stopped doubting myself, I started remembering. Things happened to me as a child, and it wasn't a ghost standing there talking to me. Thank God. It wasn't seeing something with a hood freaking me out. Thank goodness. It was subtle things like lights in my eyes, little tap on my shoulder, and being scared of the wardrobe. However, I was sensing energy. So are you ready? I am so excited to be here to take you through this because, to be honest with you, I'm nearly 42, and it was only 8-9 years ago, I started waking up to my gifts and actually exploring my mediumship abilities. I thought that I had skipped the gift. I thought that only certain people had the gift of mediumship and they always saw with their eyes or heard with their ears. I didn't realize there were subtle nuances to mediumship. I thought it was like what we saw on TV, from the stand-up mediums, the platform mediums, to the movies and the stories that I had heard about my great-grandmother. But the truth is, there's so much more to it, and I think the majority of us, we really experience spirit in the subtle ways, and it's happening to us all the time. Once we start acknowledging that and seeing it and remembering, then the world will open up for you and your mediumship gifts will start flooding in. So are you ready? Are you ready to come on this journey with me? So I want you to take a breath, get comfy, take a nice deep breath in with me. Let all the words drop down around you, and let's get into today's training. Let's go back to childhood. So I told you about how I sensed the wardrobe, and yes, there was a portal in there. Now that I know what I know, I saw the colors, and I was really scared to have my back into the center of the room. I had to have a wall, and honestly, that came through with me right up until 10 years ago when I started realizing there was nothing to be afraid of. So as a child, you sensed things, okay? You sensed if somebody was not good or somebody was lying. You sensed things in your own family unit. You sensed things when you were at school with your teachers and what was happening at home with your peers. And somewhere, usually around about 7 years old, we start filling up our brain with numbers and words and of course learning to fit into society. Now this is good because education is good and it's healthy, of course, but your intuitive gifts were put to the side, and truth be told, they were not safe for you to access. Now, if you were a child who did see, hear, feel, and know things, and you brought this out to your parents, then of course, most likely you were told to, shh, it's your imagination. We've all had that imaginary friend. It was your imagination. She had such a big imagination. She was larger than life. She was full on. So we have got these labels that are put on us as children, and we're basically shunned down and shut down, mostly because our parents don't know what to do with it, and the same thing happened to them. So instead of blaming the people that put us into the box, I think we have to have a little bit of grace and compassion and understand that they were doing this for, they thought, the highest good of us. But we can go in and we can start re-parenting ourselves and come back to where we left off at 7 years old. And this is what we're going to do today in the activation. So here is what no one has told you. You are not meant to see, hear, feel, and know spirit like everybody else does. It is not like cookie cutter strategy. It's not a blueprint. And in my mediumship certification, I certainly do not make it a one size fits all. There is no boxes involved. Now, spirit contacting you can be goosebumps. It can be a chill down your spine. It can be a warmth. And quite often I've experienced chills where I'm like, whoa. When I first started doing readings, it was quite strong. Okay. And now it's a lot more subtle, but it can be the other way around. You were never meant to perceive like every other medium that you have seen on television, or maybe a medium that you've had a reading from. So the first thing we need to do is to drop all expectations of what mediumship and psychic abilities are, what intuition is. And to be honest with you, all of our intuitions work completely different. Some people say if it's not a hell yes, it should be a hell no, where 50% of the world are what we call an emotional authority, and everything is always great for them. It's never a hell yes or a hell no. It's always a maybe. It's always a sliding scale. Our intuition works differently, and you know how your intuition works because there's things that you've done in your life that was, yes, this feels so correct. And there's things that you chose with your brain and you ignored your gut, and later on you were like, oh, I knew that wasn't a good idea. So your intuition is literally your energetics. It is how you make decisions. It is those nudges that actually your guides are speaking to you through. Often we expect an Indian guide to show up or an extraterrestrial, and we expect a name, and we expect them to give us the ideas, the money, the clients, all on a platter, but it doesn't work that way. Every now and then, sure, you might see or hear or even like receive a message which seems to be external, but more than likely, 99% of the time, it is subtle, and it's an exploration of self and intuition, is getting out of the head and into the heart. So this is a lot quieter than we've ever expected. Most of us are so afraid of seeing a ghost in our face that we literally shut down even at the thought of seeing a guide. But the truth is, I can see guides now in meditation. Sometimes, every now and then I'll get a name or a message, but 90% of the time, I'm just literally just tuning out, relaxing, and if I'm lucky, I'll go to sleep. So here is the thing. When people come to me and they're like, I want to see my guides. Why can't I see my guides? And they try too hard. They are in their head. And I spent years going to chi classes, going to meditation classes, listening to meditations during the night, during the day, going, why can't I see anything? Why am I not receiving any messages? And the minute I stopped trying and I started allowing and coming into the breath and allowing myself to go into a sleepy mode. I call this spirit mode in my certification. When we go into sleepy mode, which is the space between awake and asleep, all of a sudden we can start receiving through our heart space. And here's the thing, our brain will kick in trying to grab the concepts, grab the messages from the guides, and often they just come in and they go. So what do we do about that? What do we do? And you guys know what I mean? You're starting to go to sleep at night, or maybe it's first thing in the morning and you're drifting. We call this drifting. We're coming in and out of sleep. We're in this kind of like beta wave. And all of a sudden you're receiving all these ideas for content online, ideas about what you want to do, where you want to go. You've got this bright idea to start a new business. All of a sudden you're seeing someone that you love in spirit and they're giving you a message and you're thinking this is a dream. You kind of wake up out of it and it disappears because your brain clicks in trying to remember it. This is mediumship. And if you're meditating and you're literally like trying to meditate, trying to see, focus, and you're not getting anything, it's because you're too awake. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. When I used to sit in meditation, I would sit there going, why can't I see? And then I realized something. Out of all the clears, we've got lots of different clears, clairsentient, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairvoyance. And I was always trying to see, thinking that's what mediumship was, thinking that was the key. But what I didn't realize and what I did not acknowledge or even kind of favor, I was very much like trying to favor the seeing. And a lot of my clients come to me going, I want to see. And what I say to them and what I acknowledged myself was I was ignoring that I had some cogniance, I had some like clears that were stronger, claircognizance being it, right? So claircognizance is the knowing, and clairsentience, I just knew stuff. It's like, how do you explain when you're talking to a friend and you just start telling them something and they go, how the hell do you know that? And you're like, I don't know, it just came out of me. That's claircognizance. Or when you sense something is off, so you ring your friend and go, hey, I'm just checking in, how are you going? I was just having a little sense, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you knew how to ring me because, I've been going through so much, or thank you for checking in for the text, or like, you're like, I sensed it. I just knew it, right? You didn't necessarily see it. And this is where we need to go, what are my strengths? How do we find those strengths? Our everyday living. I'm clairsentience because I can smell a rat, I can sense if something is off, and I can read people like a book. My claircognizance, my knowing is like, I just know what is correct for me and I just know what's not correct for me. My intuition is very strong and I'm very black and white on that. Again, like I say, not everybody is black and white. Some people are gray. There's always 20 million questions, and that is okay. It is how we use our intuition. So the key is, when you were a child, you were very in tune with your clears. We use all of the clears, but we do have some clears that are stronger than the others. We can go and strengthen the other clears as well. But what I recommend you do is to find out which clears are strong. What is your strengths? Tune into them, get confident with them, and then we can start building up the other clears. How does that sound to you? So what do you think you're good at? Are you good at sensing if something's not quite right? Do you know if something is not correct for you? Or like, do you just know what you know? Like, do you know what you know like you know it? Did you know if something was off when you were younger? The minute I stopped trying so hard to see spirit, I started to see spirit. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but spirit comes to me in a way that is so subtle. And when I'm out of my brain and into a space that is expansive, I just allow Spirit to come through in any way, shape, or form for the highest good and greatest of myself and the world. So I know I'm deeply protected. I'm deeply in my power. I am the strongest entity in my reality. And I start playing. So for instance, you meet someone at the gym, right? And you start having a chat. You have no expectations on that person and how that conversation is going to go. You've just met this person. You say, hey, it's a nice day out there. Oh, where are you from? What kind of workout are you doing? Oh, have you been here for long? We start asking questions. We start creating a resonance. This is exactly what we do with Spirit. We go into the unknown and start exploring. I'm really curious. What experiences have you had within your life already to do with Spirit? Was it knowing, sensing, seeing, or hearing? Let me know below. I'm really curious. Okay, guys, let's switch gears now. I'm going to take you through a very special activation. So let's take another breath together so we can let all the words fall down. Breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes down. So if you need to pause the video and go find a space to lie down or a comfortable seat, a nice quiet space, you can do so now. We're going to close our eyes down, and the first thing we're going to do is drop our barriers down. We put these big walls up to protect ourselves, and I promise you, you are safe, guided, loved, and protected in this space. So drop your barriers down as well as your eyes. And I want you to do a body scan from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, relaxing the top of your head, your eyes, your jaw, relaxing your neck, your shoulders, relaxing your chest, your belly, relaxing your hips, relaxing your buttocks, your legs, your ankles, your wrists, and just relaxing, doing another body scan and seeing if there's anywhere that has tension. Breathing in the warm air into that space and breathing out any tension. Breathing in warm love and light, and breathing out any stress or tension. Dropping those barriers down, down, down. That's it. And now I want you to come into your heart space. Breathing in to your heart space. And breathing out and expanding your energy. Expanding, expanding, expanding. Breathing in again, filling up your belly, breathing into your heart space, and breathing out and expanding your energy to fill up the room, the house, filling up the town, the suburb, the city. Breathing in again on your next exhale in your own time, filling up the world, expanding your energy around the world, through the world, and all the way out to the cosmos. Beautiful. You don't need to know how to do this because this is not cognitive. You are doing this. And now we're going to go back to your 7-year-old self. I want you to imagine your 7-year-old self standing in front of you. I also want you to take into consideration that time is not real. So as you are going back, or as your 7-year-old self is coming forward, you may be meeting halfway. And this is truly happening. Let your greatest imagination take you on an exploration. Visualizing your 7-year-old self standing right in front of you now. You don't have to see her. Maybe you feel her, or you just know that she's there. Maybe you see like a photo in your mind's eye. Or maybe you can grab a memory of when you were 7 and maybe you were with family or playing with friends. What can you visualize or feel or see or know with no expectations? Your 7-year-old self is with you now in your very own inner matrix. Just noticing what your inner matrix looks like. Is this a room of your liking? Maybe you're at the beach or in the forest. What is a safe, beautiful space that you would like to create for your inner matrix? That's it. Your 7-year-old self is sensitive, curious, and magical. Your 7-year-old self is waiting for you to remember. They are your guide. And beside your child self, you sense a gentle presence, a warm energy, a light. Who is with your child self? What can you sense right now? Even if you feel like this is your imagination, allow the process to happen. This is Spirit, your guide. Maybe it's a whisper, maybe a tingle, or a sense of being held. Just be here in your inner matrix, the space that you have created with your now self and your child self. You are one from different timelines, but time doesn't exist, so you get to create whatever you desire. Just be here and now. And now, receiving any information from your child self. Is there anything that you would like to tell your child self? Now, I really love this process because your child self has not yet grown up. And of course, they have their entire life in front of them. Trials and tribulations, celebrations, pleasures and pain. What would you like to tell your child self to best equip them with the wisdom and the grace and the knowledge that you have now? Spend a few minutes speaking to your child self with love and gentleness. Whatever you're receiving, however you are receiving it, whether it is subtle, bold, or you feel like you're not even receiving anything, wherever you're at is perfectly working for you now. You can also ask yourself some questions. What am I seeing? What am I perceiving? How am I feeling within my body? What messages does my child self have for me? What would I like to tell my child self now? Once you have finished speaking to yourself, I want you to say goodbye. In fact, why don't we say see you later? Because you can access yourself in different timelines whenever you choose in this inner matrix. Maybe you give yourself a hug, maybe a high five, or maybe you just allow your child self to walk off into the distance to go and play. Saying thank you from your heart to your child self's heart and receiving the love from your child self. I want you to notice that your child self now has gone either through a door, maybe walked away, or has just gone out of the inner matrix room. Start noticing the space that your body is in at the present time. Noticing your body and the room that you were in whilst keeping your eyes closed. Sense the space around you, before you, behind you, side to side, up and below you. Bringing your attention and your awareness back into the room, back into the body from wherever you have drifted. Fully back into the body. Noticing your fingers and your toes and starting to move them. Bringing the attention to behind your eyes. Taking a nice deep breath in through your nose, filling up the belly. Breathing out. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and finding something green or blue in the room. You might also want to have a look at your palms and just taking your time, blinking those eyes open and bringing yourself back into this space. Welcome back. How are you feeling? What came up for you? Now, it can be very subtle. It can be a knowing. Sometimes there can be a contraction or an expansion. But the more relaxed we become, the more expanded that we can experience, the more we can receive. Understanding that this will continue on into tomorrow and the next day. You will keep receiving information from spirit, from your inner self, from your guides as you keep going through the days. It's not a one-stop shop. So I'm really curious what came through for you. Please feel free to pop it in the comments. I love to see what came through. You can do this exercise as many times as you want, and you can access your inner child, your child self, at any time. They have just as much information for you as you have for them. It is a beautiful collaboration, a co-creation of your reality. I highly recommend that you get your journal out, and you can pause this video if you choose to, or you can come to the journal after this video, and I want you to write down, what did I feel? What did I see? What did I receive? The coolest thing about journaling as a tool is you might be like, I don't know, but write it down anyway. And once you write down the question, you can actually channel out the answer. And this is what we do with dream journaling. So we go into that sleepy state like I spoke about, and when you wake up, you just start writing down and you're stream writing. So I highly recommend you do that. This is just the beginning. And tomorrow we're going to go into the number one thing that stops us from believing in our gifts. The number one thing that creates so much doubt. We're going to go so much deeper into that. So intellectually, in a cognitive space, you can start unwinding the brain from all of the programming that has been put on you in this world. How does that sound? Now, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a beat. Make sure you comment below. And if you've really enjoyed this, of course, you can save it and you can share it. We have a 7-part series for you, and each day we'll be getting deeper and deeper into this. So feel free to come tomorrow, bring your journal, make sure you're nice and cozy, bring some water, and let's go deeper together. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, namaste.